You all right?
I'm good.
Sure?
Yeah.
We're trying to let Cole gather himself.
I'm good.
All right, welcome to the Magnetico podcast, the Buccaneer and Lion edition. We're putting in this work this weekend.
Yes, we are.
We got one more to go. Lions take care of the Bucs. I mean, you had to expect it.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know.
How you feeling? What's wrong?
We lost. What do you mean? What's wrong?
Okay, but okay, we lost. But why are you mad? Like, what are you mad about? Well, what happened?
We couldn't stop them. They didn't turn over the ball all game.
They didn't turn it over. That was a big key for them. But statistically, I mean, they had 287 yards in the air. We had 349. Rushing, we ran for 89 yards. They ran for 114. So we had 2 turnovers. That was the difference of the game, really.
Couldn't stop them on the run.
They didn't run the ball down our throat. It was definitely a better performance than the last time. What was killing them is those passes over the middle. Couldn't stop that. Couldn't get off the field on third down. That was a rough one. And I would like to say the Bucs, the future's bright. But is it? You know more about the contracts and the team than me.
I mean, this offseason is important.
Yeah,
I mean, Antoine Winfield, all-pro safety last year. Need to resign him. Mike Evans last year, obviously. Baker Mayfield last year, obviously. But this offseason is going to be big. We'll see what happens with us, but hopefully we can resign all the key players.
They tried to get Mike Evans involved early. He had a couple drops again, but he had a terrible, great first half. Made the big play at the end to get us down to the 1-2 yard line.
He honestly played great. I'm not even mad at Mike Evans. I'm not really mad at anybody on the team. I mean, it was a great run, and Lions are just a better team.
Definitely.
The one thing I want to say.
Yeah, tell me.
Todd Bowles, after we scored a touchdown, why are we not kicking the PAT?
Yeah, I was going to get into that myself.
Like, why are we not kicking? We go down by 7. And
what the heck was the announcer talking about? Okay, the analytics show it's 51% or whatever, teams that go for 2 in the NFL. But then he was like, you can't just act like you're going to make 2 extra points. And then he said that was like 99%, 97%, whatever it was. It just, to me, last episode you talked about me being old school in the game, evolving or whatever. It makes no sense. You need 14 points to tie. There's 7 there. Get it. If you miss the extra point, you're in the same situation as you went for 2 and missed it.
Exactly.
And you still got to get another touchdown. And we got the ball back with 2:04 left in the game to go for a game-winning drive. I feel like momentum-wise, if you know you only need 7 to get the tie, you're feeling better about that situation as an offense. You're down 8. Oh, we got to drive 95 yards.
And then get the 2 points.
And then get a 2-point just to tie?
Yeah.
Damn the analytics. They're taking this too far. Yeah. They're putting a little thing up on, this is a good call by the coach to go for it. No. You take the points. Yeah. You don't leave points on the board.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there watching the game, and I'm like, okay. Because, Todd Bowles, all year long, his name is, they're calling for his job. And then they win a few games, and then he's all right. And then they lose a game, and they're calling for his job. And I even put on our social media, if Todd Bowles doesn't win, and this was the last week to get into the playoffs, is he gone? And we had some people saying yes. And I'm watching the game, and I'm thinking, okay, Todd Bowles has got a good defense. We got a good offensive coordinator in place. Clark Kent on the sideline. maybe you make him the head coach in waiting, to keep him around. But again, it goes down why I was against Todd Bowles was that play a year or two ago in the NFC Championship game? He did something stupid, a defensive call that was stupid.
What, like who were we playing?
It was in the playoffs. I don't remember, but he made a really...
The Rams game?
It might have been. He made a really bad decision on defense, and I kind of held out against him. But he's a good coach.
He's a defensive coordinator. He can't. I don't think he can be a head coach. I feel like we move him back to defensive coordinator and we hire a head coach. I feel like that's our best option.
At this point, they're not going to do that though.
I bet that's our best option.
I mean, at this point, we'll see what they do in the offseason. But the bottom line it ends up being 31-23, Detroit Lions. Shout out to Detroit. You can tell that team's playing hard for their coach and their city.
For sure.
And their coach seems like somebody that would, like, if you looked at a lineup of the coaches and said which one coaches Detroit, I would pick that guy.
Yeah.
He just looks like a Detroit guy. Did he play for Detroit?
Yeah, tight end.
Okay. So shout out to them. It's been a long time for everybody in Detroit, so we're happy for you. Rooting for you next week against the 49ers. I like to see Detroit in the Super Bowl. They were talking about signing Barry Sanders to a one-game contract. What do you think about that?
I like it actually. I feel like he deserves it more than anybody.
I think it's the internet talking. I don't know if there's actual discussion about it, but
that'd be funny. I would actually really like that.
Have you watched highlights of Barry Sanders running?
No. Yes, I've watched highlights of Barry Sanders.
Okay, I'm just asking. Like, Barry Sanders was
best running back of all time.
He was the type of running back that if Detroit was playing, you watched because you just wanted to see him run the ball. Like, he was that good and shifty and breaking people's ankles before that was a thing.
I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm not saying he's Barry Sanders, but Jahmyr Gibbs is phenomenal running back. That's why they drafted him with the 12th pick this year.
Yeah.
He's a great running back, and he showed it today. I mean.
So what is your number one? Let's stick to the Bucs for a second. What is your number one off-season need for this team?
Resign.
Play general manager for a minute.
Resign Antoine Winfield.
Okay.
I feel like he's our best defensive player right now, and we didn't see a whole lot of him today. But I think it's Levante Davis last year too.
Yeah.
Dang.
So it's gonna be a tough offseason.
Yeah, I feel like Stephen White's last season too. Man.
I feel like they need to bolster that offensive line.
Man. I like our offensive line. We're just young there. I mean, Luke Gadecki. Obviously, Ryan Jentz will be back next season, hopefully. Tristan Wirfs is still young. Left tackle, what is Tristan? I think Tristan Wirfs is left tackle. I think right tackle needs some work. The other tackle that's not Tristan Wirfs. I mean, there's a lot to think of this offseason, but I feel like re-signing Antoine Winfield is definitely a priority, number one priority for this team. And then Mike Evans, of course. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough offseason. We're gonna definitely see some players leaving. Hopefully some players coming in.
Do you think they re-sign Mike Evans?
I think we do. Even if it's for like 2-3 years, I feel like we do re-sign him because I feel like he wants to retire a Buccaneer. So yeah. I think he will resign, and we will resign Baker Mayfield as well.
You think so? I mean, where else Baker gonna go? Like, he needs to resign, and they need to get somebody in the draft. I don't know that necessarily now. I would use my number one pick in the draft on a quarterback. I may look to bring in another, veteran type guy.
I don't think we should draft a quarterback, honestly. Baker Mayfield, I mean, he had his best season of his career. You know what I mean? With this offense. And I feel like if we keep the key pieces of this offense, I feel like we could maybe go farther next year. But like bolster up some key like positions, like you said, O-line.
Yeah, because there was some situations where the play was there.
Yeah.
But he just didn't have time to throw the ball, and he had to scramble.
And I mean that's a lot on the Lions defense as well, as the plays that they were running, the blitzes, the the DB blitzes. I mean, those are killing us this game. They had like 3 or 4 sacks on DB blitzes. It was bad.
And I think the offensive coordinator is doing a good job for what he has.
Yeah.
I would have liked to, Godwin. I don't know how many catches Godwin had, but
he had like 3, 4, something like that. Maybe. I definitely like how we were utilizing Mike Evans with the 5'11" corner on him. No disrespect to Cam Sutton, but he is not 6'5" like Mike Evans. We were definitely getting him involved like we should have. I feel like if Mike Evans catches a couple more of those balls, we may have, I don't know, had a better run. But that last throw, Baker forced it in there, and it was not the play.
It comes down to a dumb decision. And Baker should know that.
I mean, he could have hit Godwin. I mean, Godwin was more open than K. Dot in there, in my opinion. But, I mean, it's all a split-second decision in that moment. So,
and they were bringing the pressure. And the first down play where we hit the check down, it was almost better if he would have just threw it over his head and for an incompletion because that wasted some time. But, you got, like you said, you got to give hats off to the Detroit Lions defense. They were balling.
I'm definitely rooting for them. But, like I said, it's going to be 49ers-Ravens, in my opinion. They're just best 2 teams in the NFL.
I don't know. If the Chiefs can win tonight, the Chiefs, in a game like that, I don't put in. Well, we'll get into that on Tuesday, but, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes for a reason. So I'm sorry. I know that was your heart right there.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. Baseball season's coming.
Dude, we don't have much to look forward to on that.
We don't really, but hey, I like watching baseball.
So, any last words on the Bucs Lions game?
It was a great season. No, I do have one point. We were not blocking Aiden Hutchinson on some plays. Like, why? He's one of the best defensive ends in the league, and we are not covering him.
I've seen that a lot more in the game where defenders just run untouched. And
it doesn't make sense to me. He should be the first priority on the D line. Like, at least one guy on him, you know what I mean? Like, not untouched.
I don't understand.
It's crazy.
Maybe they're looking to get it out faster than he could get in there, but
yeah. I get it if it's like a screenplay or something, like a screenplay where just a lot of people are untouched, but Aiden Hutchinson, of all people on the D line, being untouched there, it's crazy to me.
And Baker Mayfield, again, I'll give him his credit. I don't think he is. If you were saying, hey, who's 10 quarterbacks you want to lead your team?
He's in there for sure.
He's not in my top.
He's in mine because the way he stepped up for this offense from being in spring training and the what's it called?
Training camp.
I don't know why I couldn't think of that. In training camp, he was battling for the starting spot with Kyle Trask and now stepping up to having his best season in his career and being a leader on this team. I feel like he would be in my top 10. This season, he's definitely a top 10 quarterback.
You really think that?
You can't name me 10 quarterbacks this season that were better than Baker Mayfield. You can't.
No, I'm okay. Statistically wise?
Statistically, yeah, you can't name them. I guarantee you can't name them. I will name you a couple right now. Lamar, Josh Allen,
Patrick Mahomes.
No.
I'm saying that
you're crazy
for
if you
a
think
player that you. I'm saying
I'm talking about this season, Dad. I'm talking about this season. You can't name me 10 quarterbacks better than Baker Mayfield. You can't. Statistically, you can't.
Statistically, I'm talking about who I want.
And I'm talking about statistically. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, you'd want Patrick Mahomes.
Look at the statistics for the quarterbacks so far this season. Because Baker Mayfield's numbers are good for Baker Mayfield.
So you said Patrick Mahomes, you would take him statistically over Baker Mayfield?
No, I'm not talking. You're the statistic guy, analytic guy. I'm not talking that. I'm talking about who I want.
I know.
If I'm going to pick Patrick Mahomes, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes.
Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks of all time already. Obviously, you're taking him over Baker Mayfield.
That's what I was saying. That's what I'm saying. Like there's 10. He's not in my top 10 of quarterbacks that I would want to lead my team in the playoffs.
Exactly. It's just the offense that you have around them. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm saying Baker Mayfield's top 10 quarterback this season.
Statistically, maybe. But look it up for me because I'm interested to see who are the.
What do you want me to look up?
The top 10 quarterbacks of this year statistically. Quarterback passing rating or whatever you want to go off of. Like, is he really that high up? Because when they ran his numbers, it was worse than Brady last year and was one of Brady's worst years.
He's better than Brady last year.
No, we talked about this already. You even said it. His numbers weren't as good as Brady, and it was one of Brady's worst years, statistically. I'm giving him credit. Like, I started this out by saying I'm giving him credit because he shows some heart. You know, he like you said, he's being a leader. But
so
did you really feel confident with 2 minutes left in the game he was going to drive us down 95 yards? That ain't the guy you want. That's all I'm saying.
He was 9th in the NFL in yards. I mean, it's not like showing.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, statistically, he had a good year. But all I'm saying is, at the end of the game, for a last-minute game-winning drive, I don't know that he's the guy to get it done, decision-wise. Because there's been a lot of times that I've seen, I pointed out last game to you, where he had a play over the middle that he didn't even see it.
Yeah.
But, I like his heart. I like his leadership. I like the way he scrambles and gets out of trouble. But do I feel confident next year he can make a deep playoff run with whatever the Bucs put around? I don't know if he's that guy. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I guess we'll see, but I don't know if I feel confident with a rookie like coming in here.
I don't know. Like I said last episode, I don't.
I wouldn't be like I said. I wouldn't be mad with a rookie quarterback. You know what I mean?
Well,
it'd be different. You know what I mean?
But at that point, you got to see what you got in Trask.
Yeah.
And obviously,
like, what was the point of wasting that second round pick on
Trask? Baker's better than Trask, obviously. But
but I don't think we should have to.
No, I think you stick with Baker, you re-sign him, and you have Trask ready to take over.
Yeah.
Because he's got plenty of experience now, sitting on the bench learning. Like, he should be ready to come in, God forbid there's an injury or something like that to Baker. I'm just saying long term, the Bucs going to have to start looking at, but they may bring in somebody. They may do a trade.
No, I say we build around the offense and defense. Like, I don't think we steer away from Baker.
Okay.
Just because of what he's shown this season. Obviously, I feel like he's reached his ceiling. But, like, I feel like bringing in a rookie quarterback wouldn't solve our problems. You know what I mean?
I 100% agree with you because a rookie's not going to come in. I mean, unless you get a Stroud-type player, and I don't know that that's out there.
I feel like Caleb Williams and Drake May are two best quarterbacks in the draft. They'll be gone the first 2-3 picks. You know what I mean?
So it's going to come out. I mean, the game just ended.
Yeah.
But it's gonna heat up. The hot stove's gonna heat up about Coach Bowles. So right now,
count on April now.
Keep him or cut him.
I say we cut him.
Get rid of him.
I say we cut him because he's a defensive guy and we need some offense.
Yeah, and I think that the team takes on the characteristics or whatever you want to say, the personality of the coach, of the head coach, and he's just too laid back. To me, it's kind of like Billy Napier of Florida. He's just not that rah. Like that coach for Detroit, they look like they would play hard for him.
Yeah.
And not saying the Bucs don't play hard for Bowles. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't know. Like you said, his game management questionable over the years for sure.
Yeah.
And that situation going for 2 and like I said,
it just doesn't make sense to me.
You got all these nerds with these computers now, and they're telling you what statistically, but that makes no sense.
No.
When you can get 7 points, you get 7 points, not 6. So, all right, man, I've had enough of that because that kind of hurt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get ready to go watch this Bills and Chiefs game. Since the Bucs lost, Cole's out on his 14 parlay, so we need the Chiefs.
You're still on yours though.
Yeah, we need the Chiefs to win this one, so we hit the 14 parlay. So we'll be watching that one, and we'll break that game down for you and drop that tomorrow. So we appreciate you listening, and there's always next year. As Mets fans, we know all about that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's Magnetico Podcast. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Subscribe and share. We appreciate you.
Peace.